Fire up the futures fanatic afternoon live stream here on YouTube. It's going to be the Power Hour. It is Thursday. It's August 28th, 2025. Before we get going, I want to remind everybody that this broadcast is for educational purposes only. If you're starting to hear my voice, you can put a 1 in the chat for picture and sound. I appreciate it. Looks like a few people are here already. The most important thing to understand is that all trades presented should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. I am mostly going to be trading in prop programs, which are simulated accounts, and should not be expected to be replicated in a live environment. That being said, had some good trades in the tracking accounts, which I added a little bit more money to, which we'll take a look at. So another up, and away, new series of new market highs. I'm going to spend just a moment here on Ninja and then switch up to the topic that I put in there, building some new desktops over on Tickblaze, and I wanted to provide a little real-time education on that. Thank you for picture and sound. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I do have some small shorts in here. I'm just going to take these off. Picking tops on days like this in the NASDAQ is not, of course, is not easy. It's never easy. That was easy. Order filled. So let me just close these here. Order filled. And I'll keep it on this account, which I have one in that's actually losing. So we'll do an add up here. So here's some cool functionality on NinjaTrader that I think many of you are aware of. If you're not, I'm going to show it to you because it will be in a future build of Tickblaze, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. So you see how I have an order resting up here at 23,804. Now what I want to do is I want to not have to monitor this anymore and just attach this order to this line. So what you do is you just put an order in anywhere like this. Okay, so get the order close to the level that you're thinking of. And you go ahead and hit the control button. Again, this is on a Windows machine. I have no idea how it would work on a Mac if you're using a virtualization or whatever, and then I'm going to hit there, and then I'm going to hit, and then I'm going to hit attach. Okay, so now this order is now being managed by this indicator. Okay, so as the market creeps up, now see down here we have the volume point of control is being, or the VPOC is being plotted on this chart as well. I don't have to reference another chart. I'm going to go ahead and hit a buy limit and then attach this to that as well. And it went down to here. So it did not attach it to POC. Let me see. If I try to move that, it will ask if I want to continue and do that. I've actually never attached anything to this. So let me see. I don't want order flow VWAP. I want, this is on the order flow VWAP. So I can't do that. I'm going to actually just attach it down there to VWAP. All right, so you can't attach it to VPOC. It doesn't look like, because that VPOC's not being generated from there. I probably could figure that out, but yeah, you can offset it by a number of ticks and all that good stuff, right? Okay, so now let's go up to Tickblaze. All right, by the way, right here on the screen, I think I have it on the other screen as well. If it's your first time watching this stream, or people just watch the first 30 seconds of it or whatever, my focus is on teaching people how to do prop right, how to do these prop programs correctly. If you don't like prop programs, you think they're a scam, you rather trade your live account, you rather lose your own money when you're learning, or you're just a big baller and you got a bunch of money and you're going to throw around minis, no problem. I'm probably not the right audience for you. But if you see the value in learning how to manage a small account and then leverage that knowledge across a variety of accounts and actually supplement and complement your income, then you're in the right spot. Go ahead and download Prop Done Right. That'll get you on one of my lists. It'll notify you of all the times that I'm streaming, and it'll also get you access to a bunch of other free resources that you might find useful. Okay, let's go up to Tickblaze. If you don't know what Tickblaze is, it is an absolutely free platform as well. It is distributed and part of a family of companies that Prop Shop Trader is also under. So I'm connected to some Prop Shop Trader accounts. I think I have probably somewhat similar positions that some of you might have on, which is I am short the S&P up here. Okay, just a single couple contracts. Looks like we're going to get potentially another leg higher. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. This is well within my daily risk budget, and my Kerpos is short in a bunch of accounts. So you can see down $100 or so in these particular accounts. And I'm also short gold, and that's what I was going to take a moment to talk about. Now, those that have got my Tickblaze desktop, which I'm not readily distributing as much anymore, but again, if you download the ebook, take a trial, you can get access to this desktop for free, okay? That this new desktop is not floating anymore. It's a dock desktop, so the whole environment is right here, okay? So it keeps everything in one spot. You'll also notice that, or maybe you won't, I'll point out that I do not have and did not add the NASDAQ to this workspace, because I'm not going to be trading the NASDAQ in prop shop accounts anymore, as you shouldn't be either. Okay, when you're first starting out, or if you're struggling, or if you have not passed a number of accounts, don't mess with the NASDAQ, right? Just don't mess with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ might have caused some pain to anyone who was short this morning a little bit, or looking for a retest of the 23.5s, given it's totally random. In fact, at this point, I think NVIDIA is still down. I mean, it's been all over the shop, right? But now Google, Meta, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, just having a good day, right? Maybe that was, who knows? Who knows why the powers that be decided to run the NASDAQ to all-time highs. I don't love it because I'm short 23,600 calls. But the best way to go about doing this is don't care. Stay away from this instrument. It's not very liquid. Don't trade it. Read my ebook. Just trust me for now, okay? So, but I am short some gold up here, which is a demonstrative position. I put it on right before I started the stream. I would not normally, under any circumstances, be actively trading gold at 3:10 Eastern Standard Time. It's just not a good PM. It's not a good instrument to trade later in the day. So this is an example of a trade that I wouldn't have on. But I was building this area, and I wanted to show you how you would add the brick wicks for MGC. Okay, so these are called the brick wicks. Stay in your lane, and this is called the range trader. So I do not have the range trader chart over here. So here's what you do. Now, when you're creating floating workspaces, you create them from up here. Okay, you go here, and you go to new, and you go to chart. This is going to create a floating one. If you want to create a nested one or docked, you're going to come down here and click on menu, and then you're going to go to new, and then you're going to go to chart. Now watch what it's going to do. It doesn't know where to put the chart, so it's going to put the chart right there. I don't want the chart right there, right? That looks weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it, and some of you have probably seen these gestures, these desktop gestures. I'm going to grab it and start moving it around until I see this box right here, and then I'm going to drop it in the middle of this box. If I dropped it over here, it's going to put the chart next to it. I'm going to drop it right here. I don't have that much page real estate, so I have to nest these tabs. Boom. All right. Now I have a chart there. Now I need to add an instrument to the chart. So I'm going to add eMicro Gold to the chart. I'm going to put single contract. It's going to download this. This is the way the chart's going to look like to start. Now, if you are just learning Tickblaze, or you don't even use it and you don't want to learn any new platform, no problem. I get it. You don't need to. But if you want to learn a little bit about it, that's what I'm doing here. And if you don't want to know much about how to set any of this up, you can, again, grab my free ebook, get on my list, and you'll get access to this. You can find a way to get access to this. I'll distribute it to anyone who's on my list and following my content. I'll give it to you for free, so you don't even have to understand how to do what I'm doing. You just install it and connect data, and you will have everything that you're seeing here, including these Renkos that I'm about to show you. Because on other platforms like NinjaTrader, you have to install something separate to have the Renkos, all right? So the first thing that I like to do is come over here and turn off all this nonsense. I want open positions, but I don't want order marker, and I don't want order text, okay? So I'm just going to turn that off. I don't want trade connectors either. I'll keep the trade connectors on. All right, so what I have to do here is I have to come over and I have to turn this into a Renko chart. So I'm going to turn it into a Renko chart. One of the things I probably should have done before doing that is, all right, it already defaulted to 1 day. So it brought back 1 day of Renkos. All right, now when you download my desktop, which again you can get for free, you're going to have these templates in here. And I'm going to go ahead and load the Stay in Your Lane template, which is right here. I'm also being lazy because I'm just going to take this clip from this stream and I'm going to put it in my knowledge base so I don't have to record other training. This is just easier for me. So If you're not interested in any of this, then this isn't your stream, because I'm not going to be looking at the markets that much for a little while here. In case you care, markets are just continuing to march higher, 65.20. We did do a rule of projection high today. I can't remember what our rule of projection high was. Is there a script editor on Tickblaze to make indicators? There's better than that. You can code. I think it supports 4 or 5 different scripting languages, and absolutely, they are creating all kinds of. The community is creating all kinds of different indicators and such. Okay, so this is not the Brickwick settings that I want for gold. Okay, these look a little weird. So what I use on gold is I use an 11 by 2, meaning an 11 tick bar and then a 2 tick offset to create a new bar, okay, or 2 ticks to continue the trend in the direction of the trend. So the way you do that is you come over here to data series and you go to add edit data series, and then you're going to go to properties. No, actually it's right under settings. Now this has Renko's on Sierra charts and on Quant Tower and on Ninja just have 2 components. They just have the bar size and the offset. This one actually has a reversal size that you can customize, which is super cool. So if you wanted to have a 10 tick bar, but you wanted to reverse when it was less than 20 ticks, maybe you'd get a reversal bar when it was only 16 ticks in the opposite direction. You could set that up. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to keep this pretty straightforward. So my bar size is 11, all right? My reversal is going to be the standard stuff. So the reversal needs to be twice the bar size to keep them looking like they would look on Ninja or whatever. Okay. Now this is what confuses people, because on Ninja it would be an 11 by 2 and you'd be all set. But the offset actually has to be the bar size minus the amount of ticks that you want. So in this case, this is going to be 9. So in order to create an 11 by 2 on Tickblaze, you're going to have an 11.22.9. Okay? An 11.22.9. Got it? Capiche? I don't know. You don't have to acknowledge anything, but I'm just going to go ahead and apply. And boom. And now I have a really sexy looking gold chart over here. And this whole thing, again, is nested. Docked, right? So you can create this, install it. Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So now let's go back over to the S&P.
Order modified.
Where I have a short on over here. I'm not using the copier today. I wanted to just focus on those that are familiar with some of the Brickwick patterns that I talk about in my Futures Fanatic Foundation course, which we don't really use anymore. Whoops. Did not want to do that. Will potentially recognize this. This will be extra credit. Does anyone recognize what's forming up here and what I call it, or what it's called? What's forming right here? Where my experienced people that have been in the trade room for a while, what is this pattern that's forming right here? It hasn't completed. Yes, it's a pagoda top. Okay. So what creates a pagoda top? A pagoda top is an impulse move. Okay. Basically what you're seeing there. It's an impulse move followed by a retracement that is ideally just what this is, 2 to 3 bars. It can't be a single bar. It needs to be more than one bar, because if it's a single bar, it potentially forms what's called a stop and go. Then you need to go up and make a slightly higher high. I don't know. You can guess at what a slightly higher high is, right? This is a slightly higher high, and then we look for the reversal here. And if we were entering on this, you would put a sell stop right down here. Let me see if I don't have it in a couple accounts, so let me actually just put it. So I'm going to put in a sell stop right here as my way to enter.
Pending.
And I like to just do things like this so I don't even have to think about the target if I end up getting short here. Okay, I'm going to close these 2 gold trades because they're not trades. I just wanted to be in gold so we could create the So I'm just going to cancel all and close.
Order filled.
And I don't remember what other account I have it in. 9 and 10. So let's just close it here and close it here.
Position closed.
There we go. So my Kerpos is essentially just short the S&P. All right, just short the S&P and essentially red in all of these accounts today for right now. I mean, this is a small R. My intent today was full focus on just teaching around the brick wicks. All right, so we'll see if this pattern completes itself. If not, it's invalidated if we go up and make another higher high. There's no triple top. No, don't. Bull flags and those are candlestick patterns. I don't have the equivalent of them. And in order to really form a bull flag or a bear flag, you need to have like 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute that chop around and form that wedge. I do have a golf flag pattern on the volume profile, and that's when you have a small amount of volume, what you might call single ticks and TPO, and then it goes up and forms a wedge or a triangle looking thing. Call that a golf pattern. So we'll see what unfolds here. And over here, I'm already short. I like what they do here. If you have this nested thing, you don't need to have the trade panel open over here if you don't want to. It takes up too much space. But what you can do is just go here, click on this, and then select from your accounts. But it'll also show you what you're down or up on that position. So if we go to this one, we're down $53 in account number 7, G7. And I have no resting orders here that I can see that are targets. So
order pending.
We'll put one here.
Order modified.
What's going on now would be we are in what's called a bull continuation pattern outside day up. In other words, price is taking place above the prior session high, which is around 07s. So as a general rule, you do not want to be short outside day ups. Now, I don't see any longs in here. Like if you're already long, you can do a rule of projection high. I know there's some levels up there around 27 to 30s to 32s. You know, could get a rush all the way up to those levels. But I wouldn't see initiating any longs here. But on the flip side, you would not be initiating new shorts up here. Not on the range trader. You're going to get... I want to refresh this chart and see if this is an actual... Yeah, that's the angle of it. That's what's going on. And of course, you can resize these charts if you want. So if you want to make your trading one a little bit bigger, that might be something that looks a little nicer visually. Okay, I'm going to move this a little closer just to try to get a fill. See if this pagoda top works its way out. TDG members, what is the ROP today on the ES? I could calculate it, but ROP is going to be, whoa, it's going to be way up there, right? We're going to add 60 to 91s. So, shit, 64 60s, right? Oh, sorry, 65 60s. 65 60s. Someone said, but you're ready to go short. Yeah, this is educational here. And I'm also pointing out that these are just frameworks. When I say on the range trader, you would not be initiating new shorts up here, it's just a framework. And I shouldn't say you would not be. It's a consideration to know that shorting on outside day ups is just a lower probability trade. All right, there, the short just came in, so I just got short on a sell stop there. going to come over here to Ninja for just a second and close this, and then do the same thing where I'm going to attach an order up here in case we just pop back up. So I'm short the NASDAQ up here. And the important thing about this is look how well the bands have adjusted. There hasn't been a whole lot of volatility today in terms of actual range expansion. I think at the lows last night, NVIDIA had the NASDAQ down around the 23.5s-ish, and now we're trading 23.8s, right? But the ATR for the NASDAQ's 300, so I don't know, a little bit of range expansion. But the bands are doing you well. Selling 23.808 will be a manageable short in the NASDAQ. You can mark my words on that. All right. Okay, let's come back up here to this seemingly boring trade. We'll see what happens. Correct. The attached to indicator functionality is not in Tickblaze yet. So that's missing. The market analyzer is missing. All right, market analyzer's missing. They have a watch list like this, but it doesn't have the functionality that we need yet to create that market analyzer. So we'll have that at some point. Seth's asking, you went short. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to, I got it right on the screen, so yes. You see that? And any of these touches of this line can be a short, but look at the angle of this, and then we're outside day up. I'm going to make this look a little bit more attractive by switching this from a losing account over here to one that I just entered. So let's go here and go to here. All right, now this is the same position on both charts. Well, if you haven't seen this before, what I've done is make it look the same as Ninja. So you see over here, I've recreated in Tickblaze the exact same chart layouts that I use over in Ninja. Now, we have a number of traders that prefer not to use the Renkos. They visually don't like them. They move a little too quickly. It's not their thing. So you can set up the same stay in your lane strategy on right here. This is on TradingView, right? And speaking of staying in your lane, look how well this worked out today. Anyone trade this Dow Jones off of the, see how we have this visible range profile right here? And what visible range just means is if I tighten or expand the amount of data that comes back, this profile might change. But there you go. That was sitting there. So you got a double distribution. Highest volume node was 45,552. We worked our way around a little bit and then all the way line to line. So this is what's also cool, right? We went line to line. From inside the offer zone here, the bid zone, we call this the bid zone. Old man Dow. Sometimes old man Dow takes a little while to get going, you know? All right, so back up here to this position. Ping pang the Pumpkin King. When the current day exceeds, when price exceeds the prior session high or low, then we are in an outside day, and outside days are not as favorable to mean reversion trading. But there's a difference between outside day ups and outside day downs. Some of your best opportunities to find buys will be on severe outside day downs where price is trading significantly below the prior session's low in an otherwise bull market. So then you could begin to look at a higher time frame, maybe a 2-hour, 4-hour, and make sure that we are still above the T-line on a 2-hour, 4-hour, 8-hour, but well below the prior session's low. So as an example, over here on, you see this area down here that I've drawn?
Order modified.
Right down here. Okay, this is the bid zone. And imagine in your mind's eye that price had fallen all the way down and was trading below here and below the T-line. Technically, also, it's an outside day. It's an outside day down. But outside day downs are easier to manage. Why? Because markets just have a positive skew to them. And short covering creates buying pressure. And so short covering provides buying pressure on the upside. And then people taking profits on short positions does what? Same thing, creates buying pressure on the downside. All right, I'm going to come back over here to Ninja for just a second and put in another feature that will come at some point, which is OCO, orders right from here. So you hit OCO, and then I'm going to put a buy stop up here and a buy limit down here.
Order submitted.
So now I have associated orders, and then I'm going to unclick that off. We need that on Tickblaze. We'll have that on Tickblaze as well at some point. Okay, so now I don't have to think about this trade anymore. I'm resting an order that's connected at 23,809. I have a buy stop above this tiny little brickwick move here. That's really tight, but I just want to lock in some profit here. I would normally put it above here. And yeah, we're good to go there. Let's come back to our brickwick because we're just farting around. So we got 20 minutes before. Yes, I don't have the Thor copier going today. I did a whole week on the Thor copier last week. If you're not familiar, you can go out and watch some of the streams from last week that had the word Thor in them. Thor is a platformless copier that has a lot of promise, but we're still having some issues. There's a new release that I'll be testing next week, and then I will revisit my progress with Thor. So for this pagoda pattern to truly play itself out, we need to see price break below kind of this line. So another way to enter, and again, I don't do anything with these patterns anymore, but a break kind of below here, which was this little reversal here. We used to have strategies that would look for this pattern and then not enter where I did on a sell stop on the third bar, but they would place they would offer the ask right when it moved through there. So like right here, it would be offering 16 half or 16.75. And then as it moved down, every 15 points, I don't need to get into all the logic. It was pretty cool. Every 10, it was 10 to 15 on the ES. We did it more on the NASDAQ because obviously there's more beta on the NASDAQ. It would, every 10 points, it would offer another one until it got a reversal. So go down and offer. In other words, selling into the short, doing what humans, I've never been able to add successfully to winning positions as a discretionary trader. So we just coded it so that it would just lean into quick trends when they established. But the original signal was based on this pattern. So you get the signal on this pattern, sell the ask or offer, get short your first one, 5 to 10 points lower, it sells the ask again, sells and then stays in the position until there's a 3-bar reversal, and on a 3-bar reversal, it just gets out. So that is completely pattern-based Renko trading, which I do not teach anymore because it's way more intensive on your brain, as opposed to just put the, if we come over here, put the order on this line, right? Put the order on this line. You could make it more complicated and go and look left and see if 23,800 or 810s has any significance, which of course it doesn't because these are just all new highs. Or if it's a fib level or if it's whatever, you don't have to do that. Just put the order on the line. I'm going to stay over here on this chart for just a second to see if this gets stopped. This will go away because these are associated orders.
Order filled.
All right, so you see how it's gone. Now I'm just resting the +2s up there, and we'll see what happens. From the looks of things, we're probably going to be having to wait for any kind of meaningful pullback, even if we get one. This could certainly be a fry the toads short afternoon where they just run it into the close. Yeah, you could think of it as a head and shoulders look, but head and shoulders generally develop over a lot more time period if you're looking at them on time-based candles. This thing from a time perspective, the pattern will emerge very, very quickly. Like these patterns, when the market's really moving, can emerge in like seconds, right? If you're talking about tick charts. So to me, this doesn't really look like a head and shoulders. Head and shoulders would be more of a big rounding kind of thing, but sure. All right, if the stock market closes in 25 minutes, how can S&P and NASDAQ futures still move for another? Dorian, sounds like you need to get my ebook and then find your way to the Futures Fanatic Foundation course, which is free, and learn about futures so that you understand the way they're structured. Not only will it trade for another hour, it's going to trade 23 hours a day. Because we need more than just 6.5 hours of gambling. Come on now. That's for pikers.
Order filled.
All right, suck it, Nat. Suck it. Suck it, S&P. Let's go.
Order modified. Order filled.
La-dee-dee, la-da-do. All right, that's all the suck it we got. I shouldn't have cheered it on. Dow, huh? I don't have any Dow positions on. What's the Dow doing? Well, it did get up here to the offer zone, so that's where you can initiate some shorts. If you're a returning viewer or if it's first time here, this is my shameless plug to download the ebook and then also hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Only about 20%, 15% of people that watch my videos are actual subscribers. You can always unsubscribe, but then it'll tell you to serve content like this. Then you can be given access to some of the little shorts, which are little nuggets of me spouting off stuff that editors then grab. Anyway, hit the like button. It really does help. There's I got nothing for love for most people that talk about futures, and everyone does their own thing. And for a while, I was all into all these new content creators that had come over from stocks. Now the challenge is that everyone that I've seen, and I mean literally everyone that I've seen that's streaming on futures, is Ugh. From a sizing and risk management perspective, they are showing and demonstrating terrible habits for people to get into, including whether you just think, oh, well, this is just entertaining, so I'm going to watch this guy trade 5, 6, 8, 10 minis in a series of funded Apex accounts, and then talk about how it's okay if you blow a bunch of them up because you just look at your total cost and you pass some and you fail some and just play the game that they're given, and that's how you... All right, that has no sustainability for the future. I take payouts of about $15,000 to $30,000 a month from about 50 different accounts across 10 or 12 firms, and I do it trading only micros, no more than 3 or 4 at a time in any given account, with a lot less stress, with much higher probability of success, without blowing up and churning anything, without having to keep track of how much money I'm spending on new accounts and resets, without having to wait for a 90% off sale, which, by the way, there is right now. So there's a 90% off sale at Apex for Labor Day. So if you want to go pick up some Apex accounts, I can't do that because I already have the max amount of funded accounts. Wouldn't most traders close their positions, causing a large drop? Well, I would say that 99.9% of people watching my stream right now are not in live markets, so that doesn't matter. It's just all simulated demo nonsense that you can get paid on. And there's no amount of retail traders that will ever have any influence at all on the short-term movements in the futures markets. So, no. Literally, if I had thousands of people watching and we all had a 2 to 3 micro position on and did the same thing at the same time, it still wouldn't move the markets. It's 90% off for the first month, and I think it's 80% thereafter recurring. I'm pretty sure how they have that set up. But the best part is the activation fees on all account sizes are only $85. And that's for as long as you have the account, so you don't have to go very quickly. And my code for that code at Apex is TDG Fanatic. I think just TDG works, but I can't be sure. I'm not sure. All right. Well, we asked for this to die, and it didn't die. Right back up. Yeah, it's got a fry the toads kind of look to it today. Fry the toads.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
Checking in on gold. This is not a perfect pagoda, but it's not terrible. I would call this definitely a topping pattern that gold is making up here. Again, as I said before, I'd be hesitant to talk about.
Order filled. Position open.
Here, I'll short this with you here. I'll get it to go
Order
higher
pending.
for us. Now, important thing to note here too is on the Dow Jones, there's a short here with an add here, right? Because we're not yet at the +2s. So this is perfectly kosher. You can establish a short position anywhere in here. Alternatively, you could have looked and been, trend trading off of the break above and hold of T-line and VWAP here. But if we want to be consistent and just start as using it as a mean reversion strategy, then there's your add there at 45,758. So I can put a 2-lot on here. On the S&P, that's a no-no. Why? Because the S&P is in a bull continuation pattern, outside day up, all-time highs. There are no additional adds here. You see how your sizing is just determined by your understanding of the framework? And you see how it's mechanical, repeatable, systematic? I can enter on a +1 short on the Dow Jones with an add there at the +2s on the stay in your lane. I can't do that on the other thing is the Dow Jones is, well, barely, but still inside now. It's about to get outside day up, right? All right, we got about 5 more minutes till our market on close orders. Yesterday, those actually did pop us a little bit. A look of a lot of trapped shorts, just people that are offside with not ideal positions here.
Order modified.
Let's go back to this. Now, is connecting to R2 pivot levels as an offer zone a thing on the range trader? No, but why don't I do it? Because it'll look pretty. R2, R2. So that's where we get this sort of 27.5 to 32s. I don't trade using the pivots, but I keep them on the chart just to reference them because there are still quite a few algorithms that are keyed off of the opening of every 30-minute candle and the floor trader pivots. The math is kind of clean on those on those pivots, so.
Order filled.
So on this trade that I entered at 17.5, let's do a little exercise where I'll show you how you can put a risk-based stop on a 1-to-1 because it just keeps moving, right? So you could just close it at any time. The other thing would be doing this, just measuring using the ruler, which I teach a lot. So I entered from right here, okay? I entered from right here. It went to there. I need to, oh, you know what? I think I have a bigger font for this, don't I? Thought I created one. Hold on. I need ruler favorite, right? So entered from here down to here. So 8 points, right? So 8 points from there is basically 25s, right? So you put in a buy stop right here. And there you go.
Order pending.
And that was dynamic, right? Entered from there. This is my target.
Order modified.
8 points. I'm going to take an 8-point stop to get to an 8-point target. If you wanted it to be a 2-to-1 reward to risk, you'd have your stop right around here and probably get stopped out. But on a 2-to-1 reward to risk, if you always do 2-to-1 reward to risk, of course, everyone understands math, right? Your win rate can drop significantly versus a 1-to-1, right? Now, the other thing that just fired off here is an extreme turn sell. That's this thing that you see right here. Extreme turn sell is this right here. Members have access to about 20 different lessons on how to utilize this. The simplest way to utilize it is just when you see the signal, just get in a short. I know that sounds a little amateurish, but then after that you can add some additional filters or maybe confirmation over on the Renkos to decide if you want to get in. But anyway, we have an extreme turn sell going on right there with decent separation from the T line. I would suspect a buy move on the market on close, but I'm wrong all the time. So let's see what the initial impulse is. Well, no real sellers yet. If we can't get below 15s in a quick impulse here, then likely a higher close. But there's a little move down there. So at this point, I could just take a graceful exit.
Order modified.
So just get out of that.
Position closed. Order
and
canceled.
Because I'm already in it in some other accounts.
Order filled.
There's a little move in our favor. I did get short the Dow, and we got an ad there. Let me put in a target down here at VWAP. See if we can
order pending.
Make any money there. All right, suck it, Dow. All right, I have some unprofitable positions over here. I'm going to use this opportunity to lighten my exposure, taking losses here on these positions. You can see the connector line that's showing those losses.
Order filled.
So these would be
order filled.
Just graceful exits to
order modified. Order filled.
There we go. All right, so now
order
this should
pending.
be all kind of aligned okay. So Kerpos is just short 1 MES across these series of accounts, and looks like I'll have a red day here, what would be called a small R. There was essentially no short that you held for too long in the S&P that was going to provide any kind of profit for you. So there we go, right back up.
Order submitted.
I'm gonna switch over to Ninja for just a second. Keep it on Ninja so that you can just see this order working for me that I had attached. So I have an attached order there. So I don't even have to think about it. I know that I'll get a very good price should that pop up there in the next 5 or 10 minutes. All right, couple questions that I can answer over here. So formula for sizing, Gavelvan. So the basic premise is, and I get this question quite a lot, and I totally understand it. It's a classic it depends. There's not a formula. My formula is the framework that I teach in that, right? Which is the first and only most important thing is starting with 10% of your starting account balance as for all accounts under $25,000 in real money. Okay, so now we're talking about a $2,500 account is your entire account balance for a $50,000 account. So that's a $250 daily risk budget. Then I teach the concept of having a lot of flexibility. By the way, the S&P just went up and made yet another new high. So it is pushing towards that 25s to 32s. So the idea being that then, rather than stick to a rigid framework, it depends on so many factors. What instrument you're trading. You should be trading the Dow Jones. If you're trading the Dow Jones, you can have somewhere between 1 and 4 contracts and manage risk properly within a $250 to $300 daily risk budget. If you have a $250 to $300 daily risk budget, you cannot manage likely any amount of MNQ within that daily risk budget. It's going to be very difficult. Oh, what was that? That was nice. I don't know what that was, but I'll take it. A little bit of a push all over the place going on here. It's fine with the last 5 minutes. Okay. So everything is derived by your daily risk budget, and then the instrument that you're trading, and then overall your strategy too matters a little bit. I'm using mean reversion and teaching people generally how to be in the markets at higher probability trades that they can manage risk accordingly. I'm not saying that I have a 90% win rate or 80% win rate. That's all bullshit anyway. We're talking about, hey, can you be in the market right here at this spot? Let's look at the Dow, okay? So the Dow is going to be, man, Dow's having a strong close as well, right? So just for demonstration purposes, I'll put it on a trade right up here at the plus 2s, which is 45,762, having strong closes for this whole week. This is going to be a trade in which I can manage risk. All right, so we answered that. Starts with your daily risk budget. Trade the Dow Jones, probably 1 to 4 as you graduate over time. Yeah, it's your daily risk budget is the magic. It informs everything. Then you start to think in terms of your daily risk budget relative to the range of the instrument you're trading, and then it starts to all come together. It really will start to all come together. Okay. Thing is, that's a fixed stop but dynamic target. Why don't you move it? When I say the words fixed and dynamic, I'm just referring to what I had going on up here. I'll come up here. The target is dynamic, right? Meaning that it's being derived by it's not a swing level or anything like that. Now, by the way, you can pick other targets too, man. I mean, look, I don't know. Look at this right here. I would put this as a little bid zone, and then just look to cover a short right there. So this is dynamic in the sense that it's being derived from a VWAP band, right? That's moving around. So I just create the measurement and then simply make my stop fixed based on this. But you're correct; they're not associated orders. My stop wouldn't change as this changes. If you want to do all that fancy stuff, you certainly can. And I'm close to having a partnership with Affordable Indicators. I think they're kind of the best. I mean, there's a lot of amazing stuff that's available on Ninja's plugins. I've never really been a big fan of having third-party software manage orders, but now we're living in prop land and stuff like that. Who really cares? You know, as long as it's relatively stable, it's not going to put you in a bunch of crazy positions. It's going to allow you to have all kinds of fancy associated orders that you can just move around on the chart. You can do some of that on Tickblaze, but we're going to be building extensions that will do that for you as well. All right. So question is, to ever go with the trend? Absolutely. But the most difficult thing, I think, is I love when people talk about trends and it's just sort of like a little micro thing. So the answer is on stay in your lane here, 100%. You can use stay in your lane as a trend-based system, but you just need deeper pullbacks. I put a 34 period moving average on a 3 or 5 minute and can do that with the stay in your lane, where we could buy pullbacks to VWAP or pullbacks to a 34 EMA, and then you use the levels above or below as your targets. So you can do that if you are so inclined.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, so I have some shorts going on over here. Let me come back to Ninja for a second, and I'm just going to start closing out these
Order
NASDAQ
filled.
shorts.
Order filled.
I have a monster day going over here in prop land. I have like 11 accounts that I'm up over $1,500 in. That's trading micros, and I rarely get that big, but today was just too easy of a day for two-way trading, so it's working out pretty nicely. So here's last one that I have here. I'll just cover that.
Filled.
So that account's up 295, which is nice. These are all PAs, by the way. Take this off over here. All right, there we go.
Order canceled.
All right, so let's just take a look at these positions here. And again, just short one, so no way we're going to get all the losses back. But again, just manageable losses. That's what it's all about. And today's stream was all about setting up a Tickblaze docked environment, which we got going on now. All right, I'm going to run a buy stop right here.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
All right, got stopped out there. This account, which is a Legends account. Does anyone have accounts at Legends? Be a legend. I joke because I like them because they start with ROD. They start with ROD. All right, going to close it out here. I just have a few left. And here, we're going to close another one. See if we can get down to,
Order submitted.
and now come up to here. We're past the close. So what I'm going to do here, everybody, is on Tickblaze, they don't yet have the ability to cancel everything that I know of. So what I usually do is go over here and just cancel them manually. So we'll close this and close this.
Position closed.
Close this and close
Order
this
filled.
and close this.
Position closed.
Close this.
Order filled.
Okay.
Position closed.
And I guess this is kind of obstructed by my face. So let me move my face down here so you guys can see. We would call this a small R, a small losing day. And then I'm going to go over here to these orders and go here and hit cancel all orders.
Order canceled.
Okay. So there we go. So there's no voodoo here, anybody. I'm not hiding accounts that aren't making money or whatever. These accounts I didn't do any trades in, and you can see what's going on here, right? My whole purpose today also was to do a little less trading and focus a little bit more on some of the Tickblaze functionality, but it was nice that we got a little bit of movement in those markets there. Okay, coming back here for just a second. We'll see if there's any additional questions. Oh, really? Does everyone start with their first name? Oh, I love it then. That's why we should all go to Legends. All right, Daniel's saying trading the TDG way was up $180 and probably the most low stress day. Yeah, today would have sent some people in, sent them in some fits, right? Can you elaborate on your mini experimentation, the experience that led you to know that compounding or over leveraging ultimately led to blowout counts? I don't know what that's referring to. I have some shorts that I put out there from some stuff that I said the other day, which is, I traded minis exclusively from 1997 until the micros came out. And of course I still trade minis today, but I would say 1 out of every 10 or 15 sessions off screen on TT, I'll have some. I was trading NASDAQ and S&P today, but the vast majority of the time, the minis I'm trading are in the treasuries, the ZN, ZB, ZT, ZF, and the TN now a little bit. Because there's a micro TN. I think I'm the only guy in the world trading the MTN, the micro TN, which is cool. But that led you to know that compounding or over leveraging ultimately led to that's a question up there. I didn't have to know much more than just simple math, right? This is just math. How do you use value area high or low on the range trader? Are they just targets? Yeah, they can be. They can sometimes be entries. The range trader is predominantly concerned with only 4 levels. The T line to determine trend above or below indicates bull or bear continuation pattern. That doesn't in itself set up any particular signals, but you just need to know that. The most important level from the prior day is the prior day's POC and any significant high volume nodes that might have been close to the prior day's POC, because the prior day's POC is going to determine the potential ranges for today based on the rule of projection. But prior session high and low and some zones that you draw are the most important component of the range trader. But great question. I'm not as concerned with even the developing POC for the day. So yes, I would say that those are mostly targets. Trading the TG way, we already had that. Even Dan's gotten there. What is the largest? What is the target when trading the strategy? So the target is always the next. Not always. The target is starting with the next line. Okay. So let me stay here on Ninja. Okay. So if you were to get short right here at the +2s, your first target would be here. Your next target would be down at VWAP. So the goal of this strategy is to go line to line. Okay? So you go line to line. So if you enter here, there. If you enter anywhere up here, same thing. See how these swings, these are 13 period swings, by the way. So if we go, I'm going to draw this rectangle here and create my little mini offer zone within the offer zone. I'm just connecting some swings there. So should I get short here, my target is right here. Okay? Let's say I get short here, my target's down here at
order submitted.
Now it's 107, right? So 307 Eastern, 207 Central, adjust to your own time zone. Really important in prop programs is knowing when you need to be flat. Okay? So Apex allows you to trade all the way up until 1 minute until the 1 hour close. So, but Prop Shop says you got to be 15 minutes before that. Those of you that are trading over on Project X, you know they close your trades automatically for you at Top Step, which is kind of cool. At like 110 or 115. So just know what you're doing. And for the most part, I'm broadcasting in the afternoons. Well, that's what I'm doing. But I never trade the afternoons like this. Live, I don't. We're doing it for educational purposes at the time of my day where I can do this, Tuesday through Thursday, by the way. But what I would highly, highly recommend is that, like over here on any prop program, that you just hit the close button right around the close. Now, there's some exceptions, whatever. But my experience is that the vast majority of traders that are trading past the New York close, right, the 4 p.m. close in the futures markets, they're chasing losses. They're never in a profitable position. They're chasing losses. So don't let that be you. And as you can see over here from these connected lines, I took all kinds of losses. I just closed all these trades so that I could end up with a manageable red day here. This would be called a small R, meaning that the loss is contained within a reasonable amount of my daily risk budget. On $100,000 accounts, let's call them 3,000, you should have about a $300 daily risk budget. My daily risk budget on these is 600. I have never hit my daily risk budget on these prop shop wire-to-wire accounts. Now I'm so distracted and don't trade them every day, and so I mean it might take me till the end of the year to pass these, but we're in the game, right? And then we got these 450 500,000s, and my daily risk budget is $440, which is bigger than what yours should be. It's $440 because I can produce $400 winning days when I'm focused. So since my DRB is 400 and all these numbers are within 400, we would call that a small R day. The only thing you cannot do is ever accept a big losing day, meaning a day in which the losses are more than $400. Does that make sense, everybody? That's all I'm here to teach. I know we always want to gravitate towards where might this go and what might I do and this and that and all things that have to do with the strategy and the entry and all this stuff. It's secondary to just saying, how many days can I trade with a $300 daily risk budget where if I see my total P&L for that account approaching my DRB, I just hit the close button and I'm done. I can go back afterwards and determine, okay, what could I have done better, or was I in too early, or should I add some stuff here and there? And I do my best to try to give you some insights into those improvements and where there might be leaks. But I don't have to spend much time there because 95% of you, your leaks are just your inability to have the discipline to hit the close button and never have big losing days. You just got to start there. Let's just eliminate any large losing days from the possibility of what can occur. Okay? So Asmani or anybody else that wants to know anything about the strategy, I don't teach that very often here. What you want to do is grab the ebook right over there. It comes with a 10 video list, and then at the end of the ebook, it's going to port you to a bunch of resources that will teach you the high-level frameworks associated with these strategies. And then if you want to build on that, then come and do a 2-week free trial of the trade room. I'll say this again. I do not sell courses. I don't sell indicators. I don't sell bots. I don't sell hopes and dreams. I don't sell any software. I don't sell a paid Discord. None of that. The only thing you could ever pay me for is the one-to-many mentorship of being in a trade room. A lot of people gravitate towards this concept of being away from the screens or getting some sort of bot or one-and-done orb strategy in the morning. All those things can work, but there is no substitution for screen time and for practicing during the New York Open for a few hours every day if you can. That is how you're going to build up these skills. Okay? All right, that'll be it for today. Thanks, everybody. I'm off on Fridays here, but tomorrow in the trade room, we have the Fun Day Friday. By the way, go Dodgers. We finally strung together a few wins. Jesus, it's been a tough season. But we're back in first place. If you're not yet part of our group, have a great extended long weekend, and I will be streaming first time after Labor Day, which is next Tuesday. Really does help, again, if you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the bell notifications, all that good stuff. And we will see you at the next one. Stay green, trade like you mean, have a great weekend. Bye.